What is up, guys? You're listening to the MFCEO Project. I'm Andy. I'm the host, and I am the motherfucking CEO. Guys, today is Friday Fire. I know usually we do Thursday Thunder, but today it's going to be Friday fucking Fire, all right? If you're new, first off, welcome. Thank you for joining us. We have two podcasts usually a week, one on Tuesday, which is a practical application podcast / guest podcast. One on Thursday, or in this case, Friday, which is a motivational thought, cultivating how to think podcast. And those things can be very practical as well. All right. It's not just motivation. All right. Motivation is highly overrated. All right. It's about discipline. It's about doing shit that you know you need to do when you don't feel like doing it. But we're not getting into that today. Today, I have a story for you that I want to tell. But before I tell a story, I want to remind you what our mission is here, okay? This is not just a podcast. The MFCEO Project is called a project for a reason. It's called a project because our mission is to change the way the youth thinks about what it takes to be successful. And this involves a lot of things. It involves a lot of practical skill things. It involves a lot of ways to think. But what we definitely aren't about here is about everybody being special, everybody being a delicate flower, everybody having good self-esteem and feeling great about themselves when they haven't done a goddamn thing to do so. Okay? This is about reality. This is about what it takes to win. This is about what it takes to win, how to think to win, and what it takes to be successful no matter where you are in life. This applies to entrepreneurs. Yes. This is an entrepreneurial podcast. Yes. This is a success podcast. Yes. But the skills you will learn here are applicable to anybody at any level. So you don't have to own your own company. You can be the guy making French fries. It doesn't matter. The skills you will learn here will help you be successful. That's why you're fucking here, okay? Now, with that being said, we don't sell shit here. We don't market things here. I don't have a million ads. I don't throw a million things down your throat and ask you to buy. All I ask is this. If you find value in this podcast, and this is very important to me, okay, your success is important to me. That's why I do this. But what I ask of you in return is this. Click subscribe, tell a friend, and leave a review. It takes 5 minutes of your time, okay? I'm going to help you be successful. In return, do those 3 things for me, okay? Now, here's the story that inspired what I'm about to talk about. Yesterday, I had to go to the doctor for my yearly checkup, and it was a great doctor's visit. Usually doctor's visits suck, but this was a good one because I've lost 100 pounds basically since the last time I saw him. So he was thrilled. Everything was great. I was healthy. It's all good. We talked a lot. He's a good friend of mine's dad. I've known him my whole life, and we started talking about funerals. And he said, "Man, you know what? Everybody's been dying." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, my wife's mom died. My daughter-in-law's mom died. I've been going to all these fucking funerals. I hate funerals." And I started laughing. I'm like, "Dude, nobody likes funerals." He's like, "Dude, me too." And so we got on this topic, you know, and isn't it true? Like, funerals are the most awkward fucking thing ever. Like, you go to a funeral, you're standing there, you know, the casket's open, and everybody's like, "Oh, doesn't she look beautiful?" No, she doesn't look fucking beautiful. She's fucking dead. She looks like a fucking melted wax candle. Why do they even have open caskets? I don't know if you all like that shit, but him and I definitely didn't. And we got on this big discussion about, you know, how it's awkward, you never know what to say, and you're standing there, you know, and like when it's time to go, you know, you always feel like guilty, but you're truly on the inside super excited to leave the funeral, and you're like, you know, nudging whoever you're with, you're like, "It's time to go." And like you roll out and like you say all this awkward shit, and like, dude, it's just weird. Like, it's weird shit. So this really has nothing to do with the story. This is just me telling a story of a story. But when I die, do not have an open casket, A, because I'm going to look like a fucking melted wax candle, and B, have a good fucking time, because you know what? I had a great time here. If I died tomorrow, I feel pretty good about what I'm doing. don't fucking sit around and mope and act all fucking awkward at my funeral. I'd be pissed off about that. Have a fucking beer, have a shot of tequila, and have a good fucking time. All right? Now, the story I wanted to tell you is about my drive home. So, on the way home from the doctor, I pulled up and there was this young girl. I don't know. She was probably like 25, and you could tell she was homeless. She wasn't fake homeless like a lot of these people are. She was fucking homeless. And she was standing there, you know, with a sign asking for money. And I'm driving my Rolls Royce, okay? So I pull up like right to the spot where she is, and I'm looking at her and she's looking at me, and I roll the window down and I gave her $100, and she started fucking crying, all right? She freaked the fuck out. And she said something. She said, I've been wondering how I'm going to get my kids a Christmas present, and that's why I'm out here. And I thought to myself, I'm like, well, you've got bigger problems than Christmas presents for your kids, number one. And number two, shouldn't you have been thinking about that a long time ago as opposed to 1 or 2 weeks before Christmas? And everybody has hard breaks. I get it. Everybody has a hard life. Everybody has things happen to them that are out of control. But this is reflective of a bigger problem with everybody. And that's what I want to talk about. All right? All of you guys want to be successful. All of you guys want to do the great things. All of you guys want to provide a great Christmas for your kids or be financially well off where you're not worried about money. But yet, statistically, most of you listening are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay? That's the stats. Statistically, more than half of you are living paycheck to paycheck. Why is that? Well, I'm going to tell you why it is. It has nothing to do with your work ethic. Maybe it does, but it's likely doesn't. We all work hard. We all do our best. And I'm betting that because you listen to this podcast, you're somebody who does their fucking best. If you're listening to this podcast, you don't do your fucking best, why the fuck are you listening? So I'm assuming that you're somebody who works hard, you're somebody who does, but you can't figure out why things aren't happening to you, why things aren't going great for you, why things aren't developing for you. I'm going to tell you why. It's very simple. There has never been somebody who set their goal to be a legitimate billionaire. And when I say set their goal, they legitimately committed all of their actions, all of their efforts, all of their thoughts into becoming a billionaire. There has never, ever fucking been, ever, someone who committed to becoming a billionaire that didn't at least become a millionaire. Never happened. It's never fucking happened. Okay? Yet, when I talk to people, when I go speak or in person, I say, how much money you want to make? The 98% of the time, they say this, 100 grand. I want to make 100 grand. Okay? You motherfuckers don't understand the concept that you have to set massive goals. You have to set goals that are so fucking big that you have a problem believing them. And then you have to go out and commit to achieving those goals. And you know what's going to happen? You're probably not going to hit those goals. But what is going to happen is you're going to fall somewhere short. You're going to fall somewhere short that is so much better than where you are because you're setting unrealistic goals. And when you set unrealistic goals, you have unrealistic action because you understand that to hit those goals, you're going to have to take massive fucking action. All right? So what do? You go out and you do the most you fucking can. You kick ass. You do everything you can. And guess what? You fall a little bit short. So you didn't become a billionaire, but guess what? You became a 10 millionaire or a 100 millionaire or a 500 millionaire. But I'm telling you one thing for fucking sure. Nobody that went out there and said, I want to make 100 grand, made 150 fucking grand, or made 200 grand, or made 500 grand. You guys are thinking about it the wrong way. You have to plan ahead. And by planning ahead, you have to create a life in your head that is so fucking great that even if you fall short, you're going to be better than everybody else. This is the way that goals work. I know that when you were in school, your teachers told you to set realistic goals. I know that when you went to college and you talked to people about advisors who have never done a goddamn thing in their life, by the way, I know they told you to set realistic goals, but you know what realistic goals get? Bullshit realistic lives. Nobody that changed the world set realistic goals. Not the motherfuckers that invented the airplane, the Wright brothers, not the motherfuckers that invented anything great. Anything great. The automobile, shit that we use on a daily basis to take advantage of. The fucking refrigerator, the fucking wheel, the fucking caveman who invented the motherfucking wheel. He didn't say, hey, I'm going to set a realistic goal and come up with some other bullshit. He said, man, I'm going to come up with something that fucking gets me where I want to go with as little effort as possible. You guys are setting your goals too fucking small. And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because New Year's is coming around. And New Year's is coming around and everybody's going to set fucking goals. Well, listen to me right now. If you want to make 100 grand, you better set your goal to make 1 million. If you want to make 1 million, you better set your goal to make 10 million. If you want to make 10 million, you better set it to make 100 million. That's how it fucking works. And you had better put in when you're setting those goals, when you say, I want to make 100 grand in your heart, you want to make 100 and you set the goal to make 1 million, your actions better back up that $1 million goal. You guys don't get it. Setting small obtainable goals is how you earn a small obtainable life. Setting huge unrealistic goals is how you build a huge unrealistic legendary existence on this planet. So whatever it is you want, doesn't matter if it's money, doesn't matter if it's anything else. If you're setting your goal exactly what it is, you are never going to fucking have it. That's the truth. Okay, and you're going to say, well, what about the power list? The power list is something different. If you haven't gone and listened to 107, you need to go listen to episode 107. We talk about the power list. The power list is a way to break down massive goals and create new habits that will help you get to those massive goals. Okay, this is about developing habits. This is about developing confidence. This is about developing momentum. That's what the power list is for. It's not about setting fucking goals. Whatever your goals are, you need to use something like a vision board or a piece of paper or an Excel spreadsheet. And I'm telling you right now, the biggest disservice you can do is to set them realistically. If you want to drive a fucking BMW, you better start thinking about driving a fucking Ferrari. If you want to drive a fucking Lamborghini, you better start thinking about driving a Bugatti. That's how this works, okay? You're going to fall short. Shit's going to happen. Even if you don't fall short, you're never going to exceed the goal. That's the best you can do. That's the best possible result. I hit my goal. That's what fucking losers say. Winners never hit their fucking goal because they're always working to get better. You guys have to understand this concept. Stop setting realistic fucking goals. Stop thinking about the minimum that you would want to have to be happy. People get all hung up on this because they're afraid to voice what they really want because they're too modest or they're afraid their friends will laugh at them. If your friends aren't laughing at your fucking goals, you don't have real fucking goals. That's the reality, okay? You have to understand that if you want to succeed, if you want to make $1 million, if you want to fucking live in a nice house, if you want all these things, even if you don't voice them, even if you say, oh, you know, I just want to be happy, but in reality, you want all this fucking awesome shit, you better set massive fucking goals. And the actions better match that. Because here's what happens, guys. When we set these little goals, for ourselves. Well, you know, I want to make $100,000. And I'm sure most of you don't make $100,000. And I'm telling you the reason why is because you're not trying to make a fucking million. That's reality. Oh, I'm going to make $100,000. And what happens? You're making 60 right now, or you're making 50 right now. You're like, oh, well, that's not that far away from me. So, you know, when shit gets hard, or when you have a feeling like you don't want to do the things that you need to do, you talk yourself out. You're like, oh, you know what? I'll just pick it up tomorrow. I'll just skip today. I'll pick it up tomorrow. And then we'll be okay. And you do this over and over and over again. And at the end of the year, you haven't done fucking anything. All right. But when you set massive goals and you commit to those goals and you believe that you're going to achieve those goals and you work every fucking second to hit those goals because they're unrealistic, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to skip out on a little shit. You're not going to you're not going to say, oh, I'll wait till tomorrow. You're not going to do all that bullshit. You're going to know that it's going to take every fucking ounce of your being, every fucking ounce of your character, every fucking ounce of your effort, and every fucking ounce of your time to get to that goal. So what do? You commit all that shit to it. And what happens? You start developing big actions. You start developing big habits. You start developing big winning mentality. And then what happens? You start to win. You start to see results. You start to achieve things that previously nobody would have told you that you could achieve. They're going to say shit like this. Oh man, it's so awesome you did that. That's unbelievable. Well, you fucking believed. You committed. You did the action. You guys are selling yourself short. You're taking your potential and you're fucking squashing it. You're taking all the things that you could be and you're setting them on fucking fire by setting realistic goals. Realistic goals ruin potential. Realistic goals ruin lives. Realistic goals create regret. So when you're setting your goals this year, don't set your goals to what you fucking think everybody else will approve of. Don't set your goals for what you think would be realistic. Set them 10 times that, 100 times that, and then learn how to take 100 times action. You're only hurting yourself with this bullshit, guys. You're waiting too long. You're taking too little action. You're setting too little goals. And like I said, nobody that sets a goal for 100 grand ever makes 150. Nobody that sets a goal for $1 million makes 10 million. It works the other way. If you want to make 100, you try to make $1 million. And guess what? You might end up making 400 or you might end up making 700. Okay? But I would say try to make way more than that. Teach yourself to take way bigger action than that. What kind of value could you bring to your company if your goal was, let's say you're making $10 an hour right now, and your goal literally is to make 500 grand? What would that affect you? How would you become valuable then? You would do every fucking thing that you could to kick ass. You would do everything you could to bring value. You would do everything you could to improve the situation of that company because you knew that for you to make 500 grand, you were going to have to be the best motherfucker in the room at all times. You were going to have to be the guy that everybody else points to and says, that's the fucking guy. But you're not doing that. And I know you're not doing that. Because 99.99% of people don't fucking do it. So if you take anything from me, take this. When you sit down and you write your little New Year's fucking resolutions, set your goals big. Set your goals unrealistic. And then talk yourself into them. Make a vision board. Think about your life. Think about what it would look like. I've talked about this in all different podcasts. I guess I'll talk about it now. 2 tools that I use, okay? Vision board. Actual pictures of what I want my life to be like, okay? Do I have a fucking 10,000 square foot house on my fucking board? No. I have a 27,000 square foot house on my board. And you know what? I live in a 10,000 square foot house. It fucking works. I have a $4 million car on my fucking vision board. And you know what? I have a fucking $500,000 car, a few of them in my fucking garage. Get it? Set your goals fucking huge. Huge, huge, huge. Okay? Put them on a vision board. Look at the motherfucker all the time. The other thing that you need to do is you need to learn how to visualize. You need to learn, and this is how you're going to train yourself to believe in these goals. Okay? And when you believe in these goals, then you start taking the big action. That's where the powerful shit happens. Learn how to visualize. This is how I do it. There's a lot of books out there on how to visualize. This is how I do it. I lay in bed at night before I go to bed, and I start to think about what my life will look like. All right? Back in 2006, 2007, when I was fucking making $0 fucking dollars, basically, and I had to move back home to my dad's house 7 years into owning my company, you know what I used to think about? I thought about flying around a private jet. I thought about driving a fucking Lamborghini. And guess what? I was fucking in debt then. I was $60,000 in debt at that point. I had no reason to believe that I was going to be able to drive a Lamborghini or fly in a private jet. But guess what? I do that shit every fucking week now. Okay? Here's the deal. I lay down, I close my eyes. I see myself. And this is the exact vision that I used to tell to myself and show myself that taught myself to believe in this. I used to see myself pulling up to the airport in my Lamborghini. Lamborghini was white. I would look around inside the Lamborghini and I would see all the carbon fiber and I would see all the fine materials that the car was made of. I would look at all the buttons. When I got up to the airport, I would flip the door and the door would raise up and I would see the inside of the door in fine detail. I would see the stitching. I would see the Alcantara. I would see all the beautiful materials the car was made of. And I would see the door go up and I would look outside. And outside the hole of the door would be an airplane, a private plane. Okay, and back then I didn't know any difference between private planes, so it was just a fucking private jet. And it was white and it had some stripes on it. And the stairs came down and the stairs were lined with a chrome handrail. And I would get out of the car and I would walk up and I would run my hand up the chrome handrail. And I would look inside the jet, and the jet had beige interior, okay, with black carpet. And it was really nice with marble finishes. And I looked inside and I could see all the seats and I could see what the seats looked like and I could pick where I wanted to sit. And I would go down and I would sit down and I would sit in the seat and try to feel how soft the seat was and what the leather felt like, okay? And I do this every fucking night for years. The same thing over and over and over again. And why did I pick that vision? Because I figured if I'm driving a Lamborghini to the motherfucking airport and getting on my own fucking plane, I'm doing all right. That's the truth, all right? But here's my point. Back when I had no reason to believe in it, when I had no fucking indication that was going to be how it was, I still was focusing on that. I was setting massive, unobtainable goals in terms of what other people would think. When I used to tell people what I do, they would fucking laugh at me. When I told people what I was going to do, they laugh at me. Guess what? I fucking done it all. Because I set goals huge. I set goals that people didn't believe in. And then I didn't worry that they didn't believe in. I tried to teach myself to believe in them. And then once I believed in them, I would work on having other people believe in them. Okay? Guys, set huge goals. Set massive, massive goals. 10 times bigger than what you would actually need to be happy. Don't set your goals for what you need to be happy because you'll always be living below that level. If you're living below the level of happiness, then you're living a shitty life. You're all capable of this, all of you. Set massive goals, 10 times, 100 times, million times bigger than what you need. Because if you have more than what you need, guess what? You can give it to other people. But if you're trying to make 100 grand, you're never going to make it. You're going to make less. If you're trying to make $1 million, you better try to make 10 million. And the actions have to back that up. So guys, the lesson here is this. Quit thinking fucking small. Quit thinking like everybody else. Quit thinking dreams and goals that you think are realistic and retrain what your realistic is.